Hey kindergarten, today you're going to get a black sheet of paper, you're going to get a sponge brush, and you're going to get a white oil pastel. And everything else you need should be at your table. And we are going to start by putting our name on the back of our paper. You're going to use a pencil to do this. I'm using a silver Sharpie so you can see what I'm drawing. Okay, put your name in either K, A, B, or C, depending on which class you're in. Flip it over. We're going to be drawing a nice big castle today. It should take up most of your paper. So I'm going to start way off to the side. I'm going to draw this big, tall, vertical line like this. And I'm going to draw a second one just a little bit over. So this is a tower. Okay, you can see here though that I need to connect the top of my tower. So I can either draw a triangle on top. Maybe I'll draw a triangle and I'll show the other example later on. So I can draw a triangle like that. So there's one tower. I'm going to scooch all the way over to the other side. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do a big vertical line. Second big vertical line. And now I'm going to show you a different way to do the top. This is more like a castle top. I call it a Bowser line. If you ever played Mario, you may have heard of Bowser before. His castle has these on top. It goes horizontal, vertical, horizontal, vertical, horizontal, vertical, horizontal, vertical, horizontal. All right, that's something we also see on a lot of castles as well. So it's up to you which one you want to do. You could do this, or you could do this. Next, I need to connect my two towers. You can see that there is nothing in between them. When you connect your two towers, you should use that Bowser line that I just showed you. And I'm not going to do that line way up here. Not way up here. I want to move it down a little bit so it's not quite even with the top of my towers. Okay, so I'm going to go about here. I'm going to go over, down, over, up, over, down, over, up, all the way across my paper to the other tower. All right. Now I've got my big castle drawn with my pencil. Remember, you're using a pencil, not a silver Sharpie. After you get get your towers and your castle drawn, you're going to take that white oil pastel and you're going to trace over the top of your pencil lines very carefully. I'm not going to worry about drawing a door because we'll cut that out and add it on later on with paper. Carefully tracing. The last thing I'm going to do is I need to paint some bricks onto my castle. So you're going to take that sponge brush, and at your table you should have some paint. You're going to carefully dip that sponge into the paint. You don't want to get too much. So if you got too much, you might need to kind of knock some off. Like that's too much. It's all goopy. Kind of tap it off to the side to get some of that off. That's a little bit better. And I'm going to print going all the way across. Now when I print, I'm going to print it going this way. Not up and down. We want the bricks to look like they're going sideways. And you probably want to start where the top of your castle is. So I'm going to start right about here. And it's okay if those bricks go off of your castle. Notice how many times I'm printing it as well. Okay, I got one dip of paint when I did that. Get some more paint on it. This time when I go to print, I'm going to kind of offset it a little bit. So I'm not going to put it right next to my other one. I'm going to go over just a little bit. So the middle of this brick lines up with the gap between those two. So I could print it like this. So I need a little bit more paint. I'm going to keep printing all the way down my artwork. You might be wondering, well, what about your towers, Mr. Calvert? You did not print up there. Well, once I got this part done, now I can go up and kind of finish that. Right, when you get this far, you drew your castle, you traced it with a white oil pastel, and then you printed on top of your castle. You are all finished. Make sure to put your artwork onto the bottom of the drying rack. Put your oil pastel back where the oil pastels belong. And we will put our little sponge brushes over in the dirty brush bin. Be sure to clean up after yourself.